So last class we talked about how we can find solutions to any type of equation. And so on this one, last time we made a table and we picked some x numbers that we wanted to plug in. So we could do -3, 0, and 1. So if I plug in -3, well, there's a negative on the outside of x, and then I plug in a -3 minus 1. A negative on a negative makes a positive 3, minus 1 makes a positive 3, minus 1 makes 2. Then we're going to input a 0. So -0 is just 0, minus 1 is -1. And then negative inputting a 1, minus 1, so negative on a 1 makes -1, minus 1 makes -2. And then from here we went and we graphed the points. So, because they were solutions, and instead of doing it this way, we're going to do it a little bit different. And we're going to go through and find what the slope would be using the slope formula. So I need two x's and two y's. So I could pick these two here. Here's an x, here's an x, here's a y, here's a y. If I call the top 1's, then these bottom will be 2's. So in this case, I'm going to have y2, so -2, subtract the y1, we labeled as -1. On the bottom, I have x2, so 1, and then minus 0. And I know this becomes a big plus here, so 2 negatives, 1 positive makes -1. 1 minus 0 makes 1. And -1 divided 1 is just -1. So our slope is -1. I'm going to get rid of this work. And then, if I wanted to know what the y-intercept was, that would be any point that is on the axis, any point on the y-axis. I want to know, where does the line cross this axis? It might not be at a whole number or at an integer. It could even be a decimal, right? It could be -0.5 or 0.5. So anywhere on that line. But if you were to go through and name all of these points, so for instance, I got 0, -1, I got 0, -2, 0, -3. I don't have room to write them next to it, but I got 0, 1. Up here I got 0, 8. And
excuse me, teacher.
So what happens here is all of these x numbers, anywhere where it's going to cross the y-axis, the x is going to be 0. So I actually already have that point over here where the x value is 0. But if we weren't sure, we could go ahead and graph that, or just plug in, or we could plug in 0 for our x and see what we get. Well, again, this is just 0 minus 1, which is -1. So I'm going to go ahead and graph these points. So -3, 2, 0, -1, and 1, -2. And so from here, we've got our 3 solutions, and we draw a line to show all the solutions. On this one, our y-intercept, again, like we just found, we call our y-intercept with the letter b. And so b in this case is going to be -1. And what's really interesting about finding the y-intercept and so our m and our b here and our equation, there's a relationship. And since they're both the same number, it's a little hard to see it on this one, but the number next to the x is our m, and then this number is always going to be the y-intercept. So that's our starting number. So we're going to start at -1. if I'm going to do it slope-intercept way, which is a little bit quicker, and that's why we like to use it. Our slope is -1, but because we need a rise and a run, we're going to put it and make it a fraction. And you can always put a number over 1. So in this case, we're going to go down because it's negative, and we always go to the right. So I'm going to go down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, and I can keep going and plot a whole bunch of solutions just really, really quickly, and actually I could keep going the other direction. So if I go exactly opposite and I go up 1, left 1, and exactly opposite, I can plot even more points, more solutions really, really fast. So the nice thing about this is it's just really quick and easy to find a whole bunch of solutions. So let's try the next one. So we got y equals mx plus b. And in this case, because I don't have a b, think of a number that you can add to something that won't change its value. And the only number that does that is 0. And so our m is -2 and our b is 0. So b is our y-intercept, remember that? And so we're going to start at 0. And then -2, because it's slope, we need a rise and a run, so we're going to put it over 1. This means go down 2, and the 1, we're going to go to the right. So down 2, right, right 1. And I can quickly show a whole bunch of solutions. And again, if I go exactly opposite, so if I go up and left opposite, then I can show the rest of all the solutions that are on this line. And so now if I pick any of these solutions, let's say I pick this one here, that's the point 2, -4. That's our x, that's our y. If I plug them into my equation, right here, y equals -2x. If I plug in the y, so -4 equals -2, and I plug in x, it should equal, and sure enough, -2 times 2 is -4, and -4 is equal to -4. So that is a solution. That'll work with any point that I choose on the line. However, if it's not on the line, so if I pick a point out here, that x and that y value is not going to be, when I plug them in, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, this is 8, 1. When I plug in a 1 for y, and I plug in an 8 for x, notice that this is -16, and that is not equal to 1. So any point not on the line is not a solution to that equation. All right, again, we got y equals mx plus b. So we don't have a number here. We can add 0. So our m is -3. Our b is 0. B is our start. B is our y-intercept. So start at 0. M is slope. Slope needs rise and run, so we're going to go down 3 over 1. So I can get some really quick solutions here. And then draw the line to show all the solutions. All right, y equals mx plus b. B is 3. M is 2. Here's my start, 1, 2, 3, and then our slope, we need a rise and a run, so we're going to go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and so I was going up and to the right, so if I do the exact opposite, down and left, I can get some more points. So 2, 1, right, 2, 1 on all of these. Every single time. And so there's all my solutions to y equals 2x plus 3. Okay, I've got b is negative 2 and m is 1/2. Well, m is already a fraction, so that's kind of nice. So I'm going to start at negative 2. Then my slope says I go up 1 over 2. So up 1 over 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Again, I'm just getting really quick solutions, and I could do exactly opposite. And I'm showing all my solutions when I draw that line. And we got b equals negative 6. M is negative 2. We start at negative 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we need a rise and a run, so we're going to put it over 1 to make it a fraction. So we're going to go down 2, right 1. So down 2, right 1. And that's all we can do with that. So we need to do the opposite to get some more points on here. So we're going to go the other direction and get some more solutions on here. And there they are. That's using slope and y-intercept to graph solutions.